So, Alan, here you are with two of your sons. Got any good memories with them doing the IBA?
There's loads, hundreds of memories, but some that come to mind would be when we started to do the York Hall shows. I used to take Adam out. He probably was about, well, we started promoting at the York Hall in '87. So 76, 86, about 11 years old. So we'd go out with a big bucket of paste and the roller, and we'd go fly pitching all round the East End, from Hackney, Bethnal Green, all the way down back to Leighton and Leytonstone. So he'd be rolling up the paste up the wall, and I'd be banging the posters up. He'd be watching just in case you was looking for the police, in case they stopped you, but they never did. They usually just drove past you. They would just jump in the motor, we'd go on to the next area, the next manor. That was to obviously let all the people know we was coming to town for the fights. And another funny story was Sean. We did a show at the Epping Forest Country Club where we started. We started pretty much in 1986 was the first show. It was kickboxing. I was involved in kickboxing. I'd always been into the martial arts from an early age. And it was my old kickboxing trainer that gave me the idea. He was promoting fights. And I went along, and because I was going to compete, which I never did. That's how I ended up in the cage 40 years later, but that's another story. And the upshot of it was we started in the kickboxing and progressed to the boxing shows. And it was a particular show at the Epping Forest Country Club, which was mixed martial arts and boxing, and unfortunately it all went off over a particular reason, an altercation, and when it did go, it did go. I remember my little boy Mel was 5, and my missus had always grassed with us, and she was working at the fight. She said, "I can't find Mel," and we was all hunting Adam. I remember Adam was running around the venue, my Jamie, and Sean, "Where is he? Where's Mel?" And all of a sudden, because he loved wrestling, Mel, he was only 5, he had hair down here, and he was into the WWF. He was up on the stage and loving it, and there was people were ducking all sorts of things, chairs and that. But I remembered that I had the hump with what had gone on, and I met Sean halfway down to go and see what it was all about, and he told me, "Dad, leave it." He said, don't go any further. I said, "What do you mean don't go any further?" He said, "Dad, just leave it." And it was one of the guys that was headbutting the wall, and it reminded me from a scene of although I never saw it, he did, the Jean-Claude Van Damme film Kickboxer, where the lump fighter was shin kicking the big concrete pillars in the film, and he said, "He's nutting the wall, Dad, he's headbutting the wall." And I said, "Well, that don't matter." He said, "It does, because the wall's shaking, Dad." I remember he said the wall's shaking. So I decided to listen to him, and I turned around, and everybody was happy and what have you, even the fighters and trainers involved. We was all happy, it all finished well.
So it's a chance for the lads to tell us how difficult is it to work with the dad? Is he easy going? Is he lovely all the time? How is he?
No, it's not easy going. I ain't going to say he is, no. He's very demanding. Yeah, very, very demanding.
No, he's easy enough to work with, I find. Is what it is, isn't it? It's the fight game. And yeah, it's all been fun.
So there's never been a moment where you've thought he's lost the plot?
No. Obviously, me being a bit older, I've seen it all happen from a kid. So from the age of 8, 9, it's all I've ever seen is fights, boxing, whether it be street fighting or training people. So you become accustomed to it. It's normal, And like what you were saying then, with it kicking off at venues, it's all gone off and it all gets sorted out. Here at the Circus Tavern, I remember it all going off, and I think Winders went through, and it's just all part of it. But as working with my dad, I wasn't so much involved as like Sean wasn't that. I used to collect the money for him on the door here, just more of a trust thing, and always helped him out. But more as a kid, I was more involved with the going out and postering, and sort of, it felt good at the time, like a naughty kind of thing, out postering up shop windows when they were closed. And but it was easy. I always got on with him as more of a mate than a dad, you know. So I never found it difficult, no, working with him at all.
So Alan, what's it like having your sons around you, working with you?
Well, you couldn't wish for no more, really. It's absolutely, like Adam said, it's a buzz. It's memories. You look back, and it's powerful memories. You know, it's like I said earlier, it can be a little bit emotional, but it's good because at the end of the day, you know, like how I grew up with the old man. The old man was a grafter. He was a worker, and you know, he was just like a normal type of living. You know, 9 or 5 or 8 or 6 or whatever. So I can look back on our life, and we've spent a lot of time together, and we've had a lot of buzzes, and with, you know, ups and downs, but mostly ups, you know, and not a normal scenario in a sense as a job. It's not a kind of a normal job, which I'm glad. It's the I remember when the TV came to town and we did a lot of television, and this guy went to me, this is a subculture, and I thought he was taking a liberty. I didn't know what subculture meant. You know, and I said, what do you mean? I thought he meant, and he went, this is like a different life. This underground boxing, this unlicensed boxing is like another world. And I think he put it in perspective. It is. And I'm glad that I'm in it. And I've decided that day from my old kickboxing trainer, and he said to me, and he was wrong, he was a good money getter and he was a good businessman, but there was one thing he said that was wrong. He said, don't get involved in the promotion now, you won't make no money. And I didn't take no notice of him. And in '86, like Adam said, it's, you know, it's been a living, a different living.
It's just grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Strength for strength.
All
Yeah.
over as well, not just in Essex.
Yeah.
All
I remember
over.
Wales, going to Wales.
Yeah,
Sent me to Glasgow, didn't you?
Big
Yeah.
fights.
Sent me to Glasgow. I flew up there. Met a fella. I didn't know. I sort of knew who I was meeting. By the time I got to the airport, from the airport with this guy to another person we was meeting, I think we switched cars about 3 times in all different car parks. Fancy
got
fancy
shut down, didn't they?
fancy doing that?
Yeah.
That was
I think that was in the
funny
newspaper
one.
the next day when it shut down.
Yeah, the show didn't happen in the end. But I don't know
So-
if you, yeah.
Might be a good time also to pay tribute to your wife and your
Yeah.
mum, because
Put that
she's
with
been
him for so
involved.
long.
She used to rock behind it, my
Yeah.
mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind my dad all the time. My mum, she's solid behind it all.
Hard working woman.
You know, she's had a few problems over the years and fought her way through it and all that. And
Yeah.
the IBA has kind of supported all that with, you know, all the auctions of all the flowers and stuff like that. It's been fantastic, hasn't it?
Yeah, it
She's
really
a one
has.
off. She's a one off woman.
I say, behind every great man is an even greater woman. That's true. That's for sure.
No, that's for sure. And she's you know, looking back all the years, I mean, we started, you know, going out in 1973, 73, 74, and like it's 2020 now. So there's so much for me to be thankful for, because she kept my feet on the floor, that's for sure. And like Sean said, she's certainly the backbone behind it. I mean, I remember 2 things which is very important, was that we got so busy at one time, I didn't have enough tickets to give to people, and she stood in the office and she said, what's the matter? I said, I ain't got enough tickets to give everybody. She said, then do 2 shows. And I went, like, it was a light bulb went on, but it weren't my light bulb, it was hers, and she went, do 2 shows then. So that's what I started to do, and we was busy, and we were doing
On the
back-to-back
same
shows.
weekend, though.
Yeah.
On the same weekend.
Yeah.
That continued though, didn't it?
And then you'd have one in
Yeah.
Colchester on the same 3 shows on a weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of a support has she been for you, Alan?
Major, you know, not just in the fights, like all the way through my life. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, couldn't have done it without her. No way.
And of course, there's 2 other brothers.
That's right. You've got Jamie, and who's he's I think a couple of years behind Adam, younger, and you've got Mel, who's the youngest. Yeah.
And Mel's done a lot of training and everything, hasn't he?
Very proud of Mel. I mean, he's come, you know, right on. He's a great trainer. You know, great, fantastic pad man. You know, and you know, he's like, he should be here today really, but he's so busy training fighters.
So it must be quite emotional for you, Alan, when you look back and you have all your family around you
Definitely, yeah.
in a job that you love.
It's right. Yeah, yeah. job that I love. Even like when the stress it's bad, it doesn't matter because you know I pull myself back and go, well, hold on a minute, this is a job that you love. This is always being involved somewhere, like Adam said, in fighting. It's always been in the blood from a young man, you know, through to where we are now. So it's like evolved from all to do with fighting. The living really is the hardest job in the world because who wants to get it on the chin? You know, so you're relying your living on people you know, boxing and fighting and that's it. So it's something that I've always loved and still do, yeah.
So you leave quite, not that you're going anywhere, but you leave quite a legacy, really. We've got, you know, big family, you've all been involved with it, and the IBA, and how many fighters and people that you've helped over the years?
One of the tributes that I'd like to put out is to a man called Paul Kavanagh, and sadly also the Tiger. It was one of the most powerful unlicensed fights.
Proper unlicensed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that was the real unlicensed
Yeah.
boxing back then.
Yeah.
In our era anyway, before
Yeah.
the old, that like, you know.
Yeah, it was a powerful unlicensed toe-to-toe battle, and you know, even down to old Tiger, who became a very, you know, good friend of ours and top fighter. Nutted, put the headbutt on Paul, cut his eye.
Apologised straight after, though, didn't he?
And they went on. Paul Kavanagh won the fight, and I've always said, I've promoted thousands of fight, that is a standout fight.
So, in summary, what has the IBA meant to you?
Well, everything, yeah, it's a major part of my life.
Is your life?
Yeah, it is my life. So, you know, it's something that you bought from an idea, you know, all the way through to where we are now, and we're just going to keep going forward as long as we can with it.
One of the things I remember you said, or somebody else said in an interview, was that what it does for people is, you know, it pays their rent, you know, it puts a roof over their head at times, you know, it pays for the presents or for people to go on holiday and all that. So you've actually spread a lot of good around without almost even knowing it.
You know, it'd be funny, and not, you know, not being funny. I've had wives ring me up, and you know, or come up to us, not ring me up, but come up to us on the night of a fight when the husband or the boyfriend's been fighting, and she said, you know, I've had 3 months of peace where he hasn't been out and he hasn't been doing whatever, and you know, thanks to the IBA, thanks to the boxing, and so there's been a lot of stuff like that that's good.
Positive stuff.
Positive stuff.
Mental
yeah.
health as well. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people suffer with addiction and
Yeah.
and not saying that every fight comes from that because they don't. There's been some right straight goers and people that are off the rails, but everyone that gets sort of down when they're training and fighting, it takes their mind off of it and
Keeps people in the straight and narrow,
keeps
doesn't
people in
it?
the straight and narrow. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's helped in all angles, you know, with money
And
with
opportunities as well, with starting businesses through other people. There's plenty of that people have gone on through the network from us and met other people, and they've straightened their lives out and cracked on with business, haven't they? So
Your lads, you trained them when they were young. How was that as an experience?
Well, do you know what's funny when I look back? They're all pretty much, I don't know about the word fanatical, but they love football. And I hated football. The reason being is my old dad, as good as he was, he wasn't into football, so I grew up and not really into too much sport apart from wrestling. I always remember, fighting with my dad, wrestling. And we used to wrestle hard, and he was, you know, he was a straight man, but a tough type of man, good man. So again, even as a kid, so when the boys started to get to the age, from a very young age, I started to teach them how to fight, not to be a bully, because none of us have, and you know, don't want to even think about bullying, but to be able to look after themselves, and that's what we did. So I can remember where we would be in the garden before I had gyms, and I'd have them on the pads, and it was always either kicking. I look at holiday snaps when we was in different places, and they'd all be kicking on the beach. You know, there's photographs of all of them with their legs flying up in the air and their hands up, you know, in boxing stances and
normal photos always boxing.
And even the youngest, my Mel, I got a photo of him somewhere, 18-month-old in a nappy, doing a roundhouse kick as I'm holding the pad. So they're all fantastic memories as well. And I think that was a life lesson, that when you feel that, you know, you've achieved something, maybe in looking after yourself, you don't need to portray yourself as the as maybe the tough guy. You just do your thing, you know.
So, anything else you'd like to say about the IBA? You're looking forward to it coming back and all the team joining up together?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Needs to come back. Everyone's itching, aren't they, to get back, all the fighters, even down to the people that own the clubs, everyone's itching to get back and just sort of get some normality going again.
What a moment it'll be when Billy Nicholson starts the night off. Do you think there might even be tears?
Oh,
It
he will.
would be emotional, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Coming back, it would just be weird to see, wouldn't it? Really, be great.
It's like the Circus Tavern. I've been here probably going on 18, 19 years, and they're like a family. You know, Peter Rue, and you don't see much of Paul and the owners, but Peter is it's like a family thing when we all come in, you know, and we all see each other. So that again will be a great move forward when we get the tavern back going again.